And, there's a lot to be questioned about, again, with the Knicks as they play better teams now. And Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks come in, and they own him, even though Trae didn't really play that much in the second half.
Dejounte Murray.
It's Dejounte Murray. And look, listen, this is back-to-back games now. You had Donovan Mitchell and Dejounte Murray basically light up the Knicks. And both guys were guys that the Knicks were supposedly targeting in the offseason to bring here to play in the backcourt. But I don't know. It's just I feel like it's like kind of a hamster wheel, not of turds, just a hamster wheel.
Just a hamster wheel.
Like they're not going anywhere. Like they're just spinning.
Mm-hmm.
And the beginning of the second half was terrible last night. I think
32-10 third quarter.
Yeah, Julius Randle comes out, throws the ball away.
Mm-hmm.
Julius Randle comes out, throws another ball away. I'm like, why is he handling the ball? Why isn't Jalen Brunson handling the ball? He's supposed to be handling the ball. I don't hear about point forwards and different rotations and all this other crap. You have point guards. Let them handle the ball. But anyway, that's my take on that game last night. It was so frustrating, and basically turned it off, like right halfway through the fourth quarter. I said, I just can't. I can't watch this.
Yeah, to be up over 20 and then lose by double digits is just unacceptable, especially when you're playing a team that you've got some history with. And you want to be able to beat them, and you want to be able to beat them at home, and it just didn't happen.
That looked like one of the playoff games from 2 years ago.
Yeah, it did. It looked
just like it.
Yeah, the Knicks were never up 20 in one of those playoff games. I don't think they usually were down right away and couldn't get themselves back.
Well, what you remember is the second half and just how awful it started and how listless they looked. And I got to tell you, the fan base came out. So for 19,000 people in the Garden, I'm assuming it was a sellout. I'm not sure if it was or not, but. They were into it. They were really into it, and they tried. And then once they realized that the team wasn't responding and the team was doing, I don't know, there were bad shots, there were bad passes, there was no defense whatsoever. It just got uglier and uglier and uglier. And it's sad because they got off to a good start. But the question is for any of us, do we think that they have a chance? And I don't want to hear about play-in series. Do you think they have a chance to be one of the top 8 teams in the Eastern Conference?
Sure, they do have a chance, but right now I need to see them play better against some of these good teams. I mean, when they padded their record at 3-1, it was because they were playing bad teams. Evan Fournier is a liability. He was a -20 last night, I'm pretty sure. Tom Thibodeau, I don't really trust him with rotations. I mean, apparently, Quentin Grimes is supposed to be someone that needs to be used more. He's a great defender, and you barely see him as he's glued to the bench. I'd like to see more Cam Reddish on the court. I just don't know what Tom Thibodeau is thinking. There's a lot of times where I'm questioning what he's doing. So, yeah, it's a possibility, but I mean, my expectations are very, very low for this basketball team right now. It's just, like wake me up when they make some noise. And that's, to me, I've seen everything I needed to see because this is exactly what I thought. They're going to beat the terrible teams in the conference. They're going to lose to the good teams in the conference. And that's what we've seen so far. So it's playing out exactly like the way we expected.
And the conference around them has gotten better while they've gotten, I don't know, they've.
They got slightly better with Brunson.
With Brunson, but then again, if I see Julius Randle dribbling the ball up, and just I don't know, I can't take it. I just can't watch that. It's unwatchable, especially like when they're listless on defense. I mean, even Clyde was killing them. In Clyde fashion, I will say.
Sure.
It wasn't overly aggressive, but I would just say that it was really disappointing. I mean, it's just really disappointing because it was like, okay, here comes Atlanta, here comes Trae Young, and here comes a team that just knocked you out of the playoffs 2 years ago and basically made you look silly. So you would think there would be some sort of, especially with Jalen in the lineup, and a healthy team and everybody there where they're supposed to be. And it just, they get out to these big leads, and then all of a sudden they fall completely apart.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned,
Same thing happened in Cleveland.
Right. I mean, you mentioned they had your full attention last night, and you were focused in on them, and with everything else that's going on in sports, and you're thinking to yourself, all right, let's sit down and watch the Knicks play the Hawks. Got a history there. Let's enjoy it. And then it just 32-10 in the third quarter, and that was the end of it.
Yeah, it was a brutal effort, and Thibodeau's got some work to do, man. Because if that team is going to look like that, he ain't gonna be long for a job. I'm telling you. You remember last year, halfway point, they wanted to get rid of him, and Worldwide
West.
Worldwide West wanted to get rid of him. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, this it's going to come again. It's happening again if they continue to look like this, especially against the good teams. It'll be interesting to see when they play Brooklyn. I think they play them in about a week or so or 2 weeks, whatever.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the schedule. It's coming up, though.
That would be interesting to see how that game goes because Brooklyn's horrendous. Now, you were talking about Brooklyn and you're talking about Kyrie Irving putting out this statement. First of all, the ADL is a very, very important organization. I've been to a number of their fundraisers. When you go to their fundraisers, you learn why they came about, what they're all about, and what they really try to do. And basically, it's to stop bigotry and hatred. Is really what their job is. Number one is to make sure people understand that all walks of life. It's not just a Jewish walk of life, but all walks of life should be accepted in some way, shape, or form, and be understood. Now, saying that, Kyrie kind of quasi-apologized for posting that tweet, but then there's an intimation there's something about that movie that is accurate. I'm like, what?
Yeah. You mean, right. He goes, I don't believe everything that is in that movie. And he never said, I'm sorry. He just took responsibility for posting it. But, I mean, that statement was still Kyrie fighting back.
Right. And I want to hear from Kyrie himself. I want to reserve judgment. I want to hear what he has to say. And I'm going to default to what Shaq and what Charles Barkley and what Reggie Miller said. They're ex-players in the league. They were embarrassed by it. They were very open about it. They were very forceful in thinking that there should be some sort of significant penalty here for Kyrie Irving. You can't just hide behind the ADL, write a check, and then go on with your life and expect to be okay. Because I know that there have been other players throughout many sports that have gone down this road of bigotry and racism in many different forms. Anti-Semitism I feel is like right there with them, and it's on the same par of that. And you hurt and you disgust so many people within our own communities that you have to be held accountable. This is not being held accountable in my eyes.
Yeah, but this is exactly what the playbook is, and everybody that was involved in this thinks that the fans and the customers and the rest of the league are just idiots, and they're going to take this medicine and just move on. That's what they think. We're like, all right, cut a check, get the ADL involved, have Kyrie put out there that he takes responsibility, and we're just going to continue to go about our season. And that is exactly what's going to happen. No one's going to do anything else about it. Nobody. I mean, and this was exactly what I was screaming about yesterday, about real accountability. I mean, there was a guy, Miles Leonard, 2021. He was on a Twitch stream, NBA player, at the time was with the Miami Heat, on a Twitch stream, used a Jewish slur, terrible word, and it was unacceptable. It was caught on video. What did the Miami Heat do at that time?
They cut him.
Essentially, what they did, not straight cut him, but they got him away from the team. They suspended him indefinitely, and then they traded him.
Well, trade him, okay.
So that's what they did right away. But Kyrie Irving gets to play, gets to hide behind statements, gets to go on with his life. I mean, like, I'm not saying that everybody has to have, like, the ultimate capital punishment when it comes to screwing up and making mistakes. It's just the hypocrisy here is unbelievable. The picking and choosing of who gets kicked to the curb and who doesn't, who really gets their feet held to the fire and who doesn't, is just insane. It's completely ass backwards. And, like, I wonder, like, when Adam Silver's having these conversations about what to do or not to do with Kyrie Irving, and maybe he's waiting to see what the Nets do, which is ridiculous because if this was a commissioner that had any balls, he would step up and take care of it himself. But I wonder, is he thinking to himself, like, man, if I punish Kyrie and then the rest of the NBA players have a problem with that and come out and say, I actually think Kyrie's right about some of this stuff, and then he's got like half the league agreeing with Kyrie, that's an even bigger problem on his hands.
Yes, it is.
I mean,
it would be, yeah.
That's something that crossed my mind yesterday in a conversation that I had with my former producer over at CBS Sports Radio, happens to be a Jewish Nets fan. So he called me yesterday, and I asked him, well, why do you think nothing's going on? He's like, I kind of think that if Adam Silver comes down on Kyrie Irving, you're going to have so many basketball players that are supporting him that you're going to have a bigger problem on your hands. And I'm like, you know what? That's kind of that's an interesting take. It's something I kind of agree with, because why else would Adam Silver not do anything about it? So, I mean, this is exactly what I thought. Now, I could sit here every day, from now until the end of time and bring this up, but we're going to get sick of it. The listeners are going to get sick of it. No one's going to want to talk about it, and then that's just going to move on. And that's the playbook that the Nets are banking on right now. They'll hide behind the statement. They'll hide behind the ADL as they get them involved. They'll hide behind the money that's getting distributed out to the charities, which is great. That's good. And if I'm the ADL, I do the same thing. Like, I'm going to take advantage of this and get out there and show what the good work that we're doing. We're just going to turn the page. And Kyrie's going to go on about his business, and I don't think he learned a damn thing from this. I don't think he learned a damn thing from this situation.
I think given the last 4 years and the actions of Kyrie over the last 4 years, it's just another situation that has developed off the court that the Nets have got to pick up the pieces, and the Nets somehow try to have to explain Kyrie's way of thinking because he's so intelligent and so well-read. And if he is so intelligent and so well-read, then how does he not know that that movie that he is posting is going to be posting anti-Semitic themes and tropes and basically is going to piss off a large swath of the fan base? I mean, you're supposed to be a 32-year-old man, and you're making $37 million a year, and you're acting like this. And I cannot believe that a professional sports franchise is doing this once again. I mean, and to me, the other thing about all of this is that it's not enough. It's like the NBA needs to say something, and he can't just put out statements. I got to hear from the NBA commissioner. I got to hear from Kyrie himself. I mean, I don't know how contrite he is. If I read his words, I could put my spin on it, but I don't want to put my spin on it. I want to hear from him directly.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We did. We heard from him directly, and Sean Marks said in his press conference, that didn't really go well. Why didn't it go well? Because Kyrie believes what is in that movie. And you know him. He's not going to back down. We have seen situations before where he hasn't changed his mind. He's just in a bigger crap fest than he's ever been in his life, and all of a sudden the Nets are like, you got to do something about this because this is a bigger problem. Like, this is bigger than this other stuff you dealt with. You got to do something about it. But I guarantee if you got Kyrie in a room, a one-on-one, and you asked him if he still believed everything in that movie, he would say yes. The way he reacted in that press conference, with the first time he got pressed on it, he did not back down at all. And don't dehumanize me. I will not stand down. Oh, did I break a law? Who did I really hurt by posting this? That was his take.
Yeah.
And then they took him away from the microphone. And what do we see from them? Quotes that probably he didn't write. He might have had to approve them because there was no apology in there, and he basically said, I don't believe everything that's in the movie, but I do believe some of what's in the movie, which is anti-Jewish propaganda. That's what it is. I mean, I told you yesterday they were fake quotes, not real quotes from real bigots. They're fake quotes from fake bigots, which makes it even worse. It's straight up propaganda. And all right, so there was last night. Put out the statement. Look what we're doing. We're throwing money at it. We're throwing money at it. What's that really going to do? I mean, it's sickening. I've never wanted a team to fail more in my life than this group right here. I want to see, and they have failed miserably to this point. I want to see them go down in flames. Every single Sean Marks, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, Joe Tsai. I want this thing completely burned to the ground, and I want to dance in their ashes. That's what I want.
You know, it's kind of interesting listening to Craig and Evan yesterday, and Evan was talking about, when January 15th comes around, they're not a championship basketball. I'm like, what? I was shocked that he was saying that. I guess because, of course, you're a fan of the team, so you want the team to win. But, man, this has got to be about as unlikable a bunch as there ever has been.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's tough for diehard fans. And the guy I was talking to yesterday, he's a diehard fan, Jewish guy. He's been a friend of mine for years now. Like, he's like, I don't know what to do. He's like, I love this team. It's my favorite team. I don't know what to do. And then basically he said, like, if they end up winning, it'll be for like all those Nets teams that I liked and not this particular group. Oof. But I mean, it's to me, it's impossible to root for them. Now, I'm not a fan of them. I've always disliked them, so it's easy for me to dislike them more. But I mean, there is not a damn thing about this group that is endearing or likable or anything. And it's just, and I know the NBA is like, just like every other sport, It's a show. It's entertainment. You need your villains. You need your heroes. You need your storylines. But this isn't like Kevin Durant joining the Golden State Warriors and forming a super team, and then everybody hates him, or LeBron going down to Miami to form his big three, and everybody hates him. It's not that type of storyline. Like, you got legit bad guys, and people who are putting the wrong things first.
And you've watched 4 years of this.
Yes.
You've watched 4 years. Think about that for a second. Think about all the things that Kyrie has done to this organization. And then on top of this, this is bigger than basketball. Actually, this is not even about basketball. This is about something that everybody's trying to fight against in society. That's the amazing thing. And he's an influencer. That's all there is to it. I mean, I don't know. It's just it's kind of like the playbook. You said it yesterday. We all figured that this was going to be the way that it was going to go. They were going to get some, Jewish organization involved. They did, the ADL, which is a very important organization. They've been around for a long time, and they've been fighting this type of thing for. Could you imagine if you're sitting in the ADL offices and this comes out, and you're like, what? What?
Yeah.
We have a star basketball player in the NBA promoting this movie on his social media? I mean, what?
Yeah.
I thought what have we been doing all these years? I mean, we've been trying to work hard to make sure everybody understands who we are, what we're all about, and trying to be inclusive to everybody.
Sure, and Kyrie Irving being a minority himself, living in and working in Brooklyn, of all things. We're not talking about some sort of bigot who has never seen or never had a neighbor who was a different color than him, who has no idea about the world. We're talking about Kyrie Irving here. Kyrie Irving, he lives and works in New York City. I mean, the melting pot of the universe.
Doesn't get any more diverse than it is right here.
Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. All right, it is Boomer and Gio on the Fan.
It is frustrating, isn't it?
And CBS Sports Network. It's just frustrating because they're getting away with it. They're getting away with it again.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.